Our guest today is Article 3 Project's Mike Davis. And Mike, it's great to have you with us. Let's start with New York Attorney General Letitia James threatening to seize Trump's real estate and trying to confiscate everything he owns, it appears.
This judgment up in New York is part of the Democrats' lawfare and election interference, where they've impeached Trump twice. They've indicted him 4 times. They're trying to bankrupt his business for non-fraud up in New York for a businessman paying back sophisticated Wall Street banks in full, on time, as agreed, with interest. You saw Jean Carroll, who made up sexual assault allegations against President Trump, and they extracted another $100 million almost out of Trump from a Democrat judge and a Democrat jury and a Democrat hellhole. This is lawfare, and this is unconstitutional and un-American what they're doing to President Trump. They fear President Trump will beat Biden on November 5th, 2024. So they simply want to throw him in prison, bankrupt him, and when that backfired, they're even just trying to take him off the ballot. They fear, the Democrats fear American voters.
Well, it's, I've asked you this, I guess, several times over the course of this persecution of Donald Trump. But why, in this instance, it's absolutely obvious to everyone what these courts are doing, what these prosecutors are doing. Why in the world doesn't the Supreme Court intervene?
The Supreme Court will have to intervene on these cases, and they will intervene. They've intervened on the Colorado disqualification case. And at that oral argument, it sounds like even the Democrat-appointed justices, at least 2 of the 3, are ready to cut bait with the Democrat lawfare on that one. So that could be an 8-1 case, maybe even 9-0 if Sotomayor actually uses her brain for once and goes along with her colleagues. I would say President Trump also has a very serious constitutional claim of presidential immunity in both January 6 cases. The Jack Smith bogus case against President Trump in D.C., and then the Fannie Willis case down in Atlanta, Georgia, down in Fulton County, Georgia. President Trump has raised the issue of presidential immunity, and that is this. Members of Congress cannot be charged civilly or criminally for their official acts. Federal judges cannot be charged civilly or criminally for their official acts. The president right now can't be charged civilly. It's not been established that the president can't be charged criminally because we've never had a former president charged until this unprecedented lawfare against President Trump, where these Democrat prosecutors working with these Democrat judges have brought 4 bogus indictments against President Trump. So the Supreme Court is going to have to take this presidential immunity case for the Fulton County case and the Jack Smith D.C. case. The Supreme Court's going to have to take this New York case because this is clearly unconstitutional. You had Democrat New York Attorney General Tish James illegally campaign on the fact that she's going to get Trump. And during just the first 5 weeks of this civil fraud trial in New York, Tish James made over 50 inappropriate, biased comments in just the first 5 weeks of the trial before we stopped counting, right? And then this Manhattan judge, Arthur Engoron, who donated to Biden and is a Democrat operative, decreed before the trial even began, before any witnesses, before any other evidence, that Trump somehow committed fraud, and part of it was because Trump said that Mar-a-Lago, which is worth at least $500 million, probably closer to $1 billion, they're claiming Trump committed fraud because he said Mar-a-Lago, because they think that Mar-a-Lago is only worth $18 million. That is insane. Mar-a-Lago is 20 acres of the most prime real estate in the world. It's the only property that touches both the intra-coastal waterway and the Atlantic Ocean. A tennis court at Mar-a-Lago is worth more than $18 million. But then we have this Democrat prosecutor, Tish James, this Democrat judge, Arthur Engoron, without a jury, saying that Trump committed this fraud, and then trying to impose this penalty, this unconstitutionally punitive, baseless penalty of nearly $500 billion. The Supreme Court of the United States is going to have to fix this if the New York appellate courts don't, because the legitimacy of the Supreme Court is on the line.
I've been thinking hard about this, trying to figure out what the response is. What is the countervailing influence against lawfare? And what is the fundamental, the underlying strategy here, and the reason that it is so successful? And I've only come up with this, and that is straightforwardly, the Marxists have decided in the legal profession that they can commit crimes, and that the legal system in this country, the judiciary, leave aside the corruption for a moment. The real idea here is you commit the crime and it takes years to unravel that. And that's what we're looking at. There is no proposition within the legal system that as I understand it, Mike, for the president to find relief. He's got to wait for a Supreme Court that takes at most 300 cases a year. This is outrageous. We've got a 19th century court system and a 21st century band of a roving band of legal bandits.
I agree with you, Lou, and we've said this for a long time. Today's Democrats are not liberals who love America. This is not our parents' or grandparents' Democrat Party. These are leftist. These are Marxist. They hate due process. They believe in Me Too, weaponized Me Too, our justice system politicized and weaponized. They don't believe in equality. They believe in equity. They don't believe in free speech. They believe in censorship. Today's Democrats are leftists. They don't respect reason. They only respect power. And so as conservatives, we need to show them power. We need to start fighting back with them with our own criminal indictments from our Republican state attorneys general and our Republican DAs. We need to start firing back with them with civil rights lawsuits and other types of civil lawsuits to go after them. We need to show them a healthy dose of their own medicine. The reason they're getting away with this lawfare is because no one is fighting back against this. Why aren't House Republicans doing more? Why aren't they issuing more subpoenas? Why aren't they putting these operatives like Jack Smith and Tish James and Fani Willis and Alvin Bragg and all these other rabid partisan Marxist prosecutors, why aren't they hauled before Congress and making them explain to the American people why they are doing this coordinated lawfare and election interference against their political opponents?
Right. Joe
Biden has his fingerprints on every one of these criminal prosecutions, every single one of them. I've got to interrupt you just for a second. We've got to take a quick commercial break and we'll come right back. We're talking with Mike Davis, founder of the Article 3 Project. Please stay with us. We'll be back in just moments. Folks, I beg everyone to get ready for the next crisis, and when it comes, our lives will likely change overnight, whether it's natural disaster, war, or another disease. We have to be ready as we can be. We saw what happened in 2020 when we found ourselves dependent on global supply chains. We're still dependent on China and other countries for more than 90% of all our pharmaceuticals. With clusters of respiratory illnesses popping up around the world and here, we need to be prepared, and now is the time to make certain you have what your family needs when the next crisis hits. Our good friends, Dr. Peter McCullough and Dr. Drew Pinsky over at the Wellness Company have put together just what you and I need with the Wellness Company's Medical Emergency Kit. And now the Wellness Company's medical kit provides a solution critical to you and your loved ones. This emergency kit includes 8 life-saving medications, including amoxicillin, Z-Pak, and ivermectin for you to keep on hand, along with a guidebook for safe use. From tick bites to biochemical events, every medical scenario is covered. Be prepared for whatever comes next. Go to twc.health/Dobbs and grab your medical emergency kit right now. Go to twc.health/Dobbs now. That's twc.health/Dobbs. Put in promo code Dobbs and save 15% at checkout. Take control of your health today with the Wellness Company's Medical Emergency Kit. Prepare today, be ready tomorrow.
With LinkedIn Jobs, we tap into a network of more than 1 billion professionals to help you find quality professionals quickly and easily for any role you need. Marketing wizards? Found them.
Software engineers?
Found.
That project manager I could never seem to hire?
And found. LinkedIn Jobs quickly matches your roles with candidates with the right skills and experience. In fact, 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. Post your first job for free and get started at linkedin.com/acquire. That's linkedin.com/acquire. Terms and conditions apply.
Tropical Smoothie Cafe here with your daily reminder to get on Tropic Time. Take 10. Sip a refreshing smoothie and manifest the your cabana side. Slayed hot yoga? Treat yourself. Crushed back-to-back meetings? Get that me time. Adulted a little extra today? You deserve a vacay. You're on Tropic Time now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe. Self-care alert, new Tropic Bowls are here. Try one of our 4 flavors like our new acai bowl. Your vacay is a Tropic Bowl away.
We're back now. We're talking with Mike Davis, the founder of the Article 3 Project. And Mike, before the break, we were talking about the recourse here and Republicans fighting back. There are none that I'm aware of who have come up with a plan that will meet this orchestrated conspiracy to not only imprison Donald Trump, but to break him financially and to destroy the man. And we have a court system that is rife with corruption, political corruption. Primarily, they're Marxist Dems by a huge margin. There is no recourse here. And what I fear is that having put the American people in a corner, that there is going to be open conflict in this country. Because when the political system doesn't work because it's been rigged, when the judicial system doesn't work because it's under the control of the Marxist Dems, and there is no countervailing influence because it's also rigged, in point of fact, what in the world does anyone expect but open conflict in our society?
That's the problem, Lou. When you make people feel like there's no recourse legally and politically, you make people desperate. And if these Democrats think that half of the American population is going to accept that President Trump has the popular support of the American people to go back to the White House after November 5th, 2024, but the Democrats are just going to bankrupt him, throw him in prison, and or disqualify him from the ballot, and President Biden or whoever Biden's replacement simply wins by default. The American people, half of the American people, are not going to accept that. And maybe that's what the Democrats want. Maybe they want this conflict that you're talking about because they're obviously trying to do everything they can to divide and destroy our country.
That's absolutely true. Whether we're talking about our education system, our public school system, they're destroying it, the great equalizer in our society, and it always has been since the founding. Whether it be the court system, whether it be the legislature, I mean, in every element of our government, we see the control of the Marxist Dems. The Republicans have been fatuous, just hubris-ridden fools to get to this point. And now here we are again. We're looking at the threat, and there is no recourse. I don't believe there's a legal recourse for the Republicans anywhere in this country right now.
Well, and this is why I've been saying repeatedly every day since the unprecedented, unnecessary, and unlawful home raid on President Trump by President Biden 20 months ago. This is why I've been saying that the House Republicans must step up and fight back against this. They have to cut off funding for these federal prosecutions. They have to cut off funding for these states that are running these state prosecutions. They have to haul in these bad actors and demand their documents and demand their testimony, because if there's no pushback from the conservatives, they are walking, the Democrats are walking through an open door. And we've got to the point, Lou, you're exactly right. We're getting to the point of no return. If Democrats think that they're going to bankrupt Trump and put him in prison before November 5th, 2024, we're going to lose our country.
Yeah. Well, we're going to lose this version of it, most certainly, because, and what concerns me, we know that the deep state and the Marxist Dems are working together. We know that the military and the intelligence communities in the entire federal government, point of fact, are under the control of the Marxist Dems and aligned with the deep state. And I wonder, is this what they actually mean to do? Do they want this conflict to occur? And as I try to assess it, what profit is there in that? It will be would be devastating. But this is precisely what the Marxists are doing, marching us toward that precipice that awaits us all. It will not be a simple matter, and I want to take that up legally. What happens next, and what can we do to avoid what looks to be the trajectory we're on? We're talking with Mike Davis, founder of the Article 3 Project, and we're talking about a very serious matter, the future of this nation. We'll be right back.
Lou Dobbs here. I'm delighted to let you all know that the program Lou Dobbs Tonight has returned to the air. That's right, Lou Dobbs Tonight is back. We're live each and every weeknight at 7 p.m. Eastern and 6 p.m. Central on rumble.com/Lou Dobbs. That's rumble.com/Lou Dobbs. I hope you'll be joining us for Lou Dobbs Tonight as our fight to save this country has only begun.
Are you struggling to close deals? Cold outreach is wasting the time of both the buyer and seller at every stage, especially when sellers are using shallow and outdated data. Your organization can overcome these challenges with technology that translates comprehensive, high-quality buyer data into real-time insights. These deeper insights empower sales reps and teams to adopt the habits of top performers, which leads to better outcomes, like more pipeline, higher win rates, and larger deals. We call this deep sales, and we've built the first deep sales platform with the next generation of LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Right now, you can try LinkedIn Sales Navigator and get a 60-day free trial at linkedin.com/trial. That is linkedin.com/trial for a 60-day free trial. Let LinkedIn Sales Navigator help you sell like a superstar today. Just go to linkedin.com/trial and get started.
Introducing Fidelity Advantage 401k, the affordable 401k plan built for small businesses like yours. It's easy to manage, so you can focus on your business and make saving for retirement a reality. Ready to learn more? Visit fidelity.com/setup401k. That's fidelity.com/setup401k to learn more. For plan sponsor and investment professional use only. Some products and services are not available to employers outside the U.S. Fidelity Advantage 401k is a service mark of FMR LLC. Fidelity Brokerage Services LLC. Member NYSE and SIPC. Copyright 2023. FMR LLC.
We're back with Mike Davis, the Article 3 Project. And Mike, we know where we are now. We know that the Congress is not going to do a thing, the Republican Congress. We know that the Senate is aligned with the deep state. It is, and the Republicans amount to nothing in that body. So, and it looks like this Supreme Court is not a place to expect wondrous results if it is the court of last resort here. So, where are we when righteous citizens stand up for the law? How can we stand up for the law and at the same time deal with the reality that we're being suppressed, we're being oppressed? Our rights are being denied. We can't get relief in the court. We can't get relief from our Congress because we've filled those halls with a husk of what were once great principled Americans. We're looking at, to me, it looks to me like we're looking into the abyss here, and I'm only speaking figuratively, but it's a dire moment.
Yeah, I mean, look what Joe Biden and his Justice Department did on January 6th. January 6th was a lawful protest permitted by the National Park Service that devolved into a riot. But because the people involved with January 6th were Biden's political enemies, Biden sent the full force of his Justice Department to run the biggest law enforcement operation in world history to round up everyone they could on January 6th. So just imagine what they're trying to play here. It's almost like Biden wants to create a conflict with Trump supporters because maybe January 6th was the warm-up. January 6th might be the mini warm-up for what Biden and the Democrats will do to Trump supporters after the Democrats bankrupt Trump and throw him in prison and win the election by default.
Okay. And we all know this. There is no Republican Party without Donald Trump. It is his agenda, his leadership that has gotten the Republican Party to this point. Without Donald Trump, and I truly believe this, Mike, it would have been the end of the Republican Party in 2020. We also know that the COVID lockdown and the Biden response in terms of the public health agencies, the mandated vaccines, even for the military. We know that our officials are being blackmailed left and right by the deep state. We know that we are a nation right now that is not a constitutional republic. It is not any longer because there are no checks, there are no balances, there's no constitution being honored. Our borders are wide open, and this is a vicious, venal Marxist party leading the Democrats. So what in the world do? We have to respond in some fashion. And we have to do it urgently. And that's why I started this conversation by asking, where in the hell is the Supreme Court? And are these people so indolent and disinterested in this nation and preserving the republic that they wouldn't have the character, the loyalty to the nation and to the proposition of the Constitution to intervene and stop it now?
Because that's a very good question, Lou. And I think this is a very big test. The Supreme Court has a pending motion to stay these criminal proceedings and to allow President Trump to seek the normal appellate review that any other criminal defendant would get for his claim of presidential immunity, government immunity. If the Supreme Court grants his request to stay the proceedings and allows him to pursue his claim of presidential immunity, which he's absolutely allowed to do, then we know that the Supreme Court is on track. If the Supreme Court does not grant President Trump stay, we're done, because that means the Democrats are going to be able to prosecute and imprison President Trump in Washington, D.C. by Jack Smith with their bogus legal theory before the election. And the Supreme Court is going to allow this final act of destroying our country by the Marxist Democrats.
Well, that's not acceptable to me. I know it's not acceptable to you and to Americans who consider themselves patriots. And we have to have a response. And people need to quit listing grievances in this country. We've got to start resolving things before they get to the point of an epic disaster societally and politically in this country. Mike Davis, for all you do, thank you, sir, and thank you for being with us today. God bless.
Thank you so much, Lou.
Thanks.